Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. I'm trying to make my voice sound all sultry and lure you in, but I just don't have that kind of voice. I feel like I'm Phoebe on Friends when she purposely tries to continue to have her cold when her cold goes away, but she doesn't want it to because when she has a cold, everybody says her voice sounds all sexy and sultry, and suddenly everybody wants to listen to her. And so when it goes away, she's trying to catch her cold from Monica. Cracks me up. I just don't have that kind of voice. That's why I extra appreciate anybody out there that's listening to me, especially people who have not only listened to me one time, but people that continuously listen, like they're faithful and have listened to all of my episodes. I don't know how you do it. I find my voice, so I'm not really good at advertising myself. I don't really sell myself. Okay, guys, come on. How come every time I start a podcast, you have to start up? Because you don't feel like you're getting attention? Rocky, you need to man up, though. You're a German Shepherd. Come on. Lord, I'm still dog sitting, and we have a Dobie that thinks it's fun to be really dominant, which I'm okay with dogs being dominant, as in, there's a pecking order, if a dog is older, if a dog has been there longer, whatever. It's okay for pecking orders. It's okay to establish a little bit of dominance, because people take that word, I feel people take that word as such a negative word. And it is, because, domineering, if someone is domineering, that's not necessarily a good thing unless you're like the leader of the free world, or unless it has its purpose. If you are trying to, what if there's a big corporation and they're bullying small companies, and you're like the attorney for this gigantic corporation, this multi-million dollar or billion dollar corporation, you kind of have to be dominant. You kind of have to domineer. You have to, people might be like, that's just being aggressive. But again, sometimes you need to be aggressive. That's why we have that emotion. We have that emotion for a reason. I'm not saying it's okay to be aggressive toward people as in harm them, as in hurt them, not assault them, but sometimes aggression can be with some harsh words, with some loud, harsh words. And once in a while, again, not all the time, not promoting people screaming and yelling or raising their voice or being all, dominant. But again, it has its place. Sometimes you have to fight off people that are bullies and corporations that are bullies, or the leaders of different countries. So you need to establish some dominance if you're fighting off, Putin, Kim Jong-un. Well, he's such a he reminds me of the fat kid that ate a lot of cake, and he's just over there playing with it with the hat that has the spin top, the hat that's got the red and yellow and blue colors on it with the little spinning wheel on the top. And then he's in a striped shirt, and he's just over there playing with cars in the corner. He's just such a fat kid. Paulo! Good boy, yes. Good boy, yes. Anyway, sometimes dominance is good, and people associate it with bad things. And with dogs, it's okay to have a submissive and a dominant dog. Again, as long as that dominant dog isn't being aggressive. You don't want a dog to be aggressive. You want a dog, though, to, again, I use the example of sometimes dogs will be in a I'd say there's an older dog, and he's laying on his bed, and this younger dog keeps coming over and bugging him while he's trying to sleep. And he's old, and he's got bones that hurt, and he doesn't want this puppy bothering him. Now, let's say this puppy keeps on bothering him. The dog doesn't do anything. And then finally the dog kind of growls hey, here's a warning. And then the puppy continues, and the dog growls again hey, dude. And then maybe the puppy keeps going, and maybe the dog now growls and kind of does a little bit of and the puppy still doesn't listen. I'm okay with that dog giving a little, hey, not biting him, not like attacking him, but basically the equivalent of a mom being like, hey, knock it off. I said knock it off, and like poking him, like that's enough, or swatting his butt, give him a little butt swat, because that is how they learn their place. That's how they learn, oh, this dog is trying to tell me they don't want me to do something. He gave me warning. I didn't listen, so I received consequences. If only humans could be like that. It's that easy. When a human is like, hey, I'm really sorry. Could you please not do that? It bothers me. Can you please stop? And then the, kid is like, poke, poke, poke. And then the person's like, the brother's like, hey, can you stop? I don't like it when you do that. You're making me mad. It really bothers me. And then the little sibling's like, poke, poke, poke. And then finally the sibling like punches him. I've said this before. My son has done that before. And when he finally did punch his brother after my son had given numerous warnings to stop, and my younger son, his brother, would not stop. And he kept saying, if you don't stop, I'm going to punch you. Please stop. Please stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to punch you. And then finally he punched him. And I'm sorry, but I was like, well, guess what? Maybe you should listen, because he gave you a million warnings. Frankly, he gave you more warnings than I would have ever given. You didn't listen. There are consequences. Man, if more people had consequences for their actions, if more people were held accountable, especially politicians, man, what a wonderful world this would be. What a wonderful world this would be. Don't you guys love it when I sing? God, this world would be gravy if people would pick up their dog poop, if people would just relax a little and focus on themselves a little more as far as their own personality and their own morals and religion, and then focus on others more when it comes to helping and just realizing that there are other people in the planet besides yourself, and other people's opinions and beliefs and morals and values count just as much as yours. And then if we could just be like a dog and roll around in the ground, and like, Apollo, come here. Apollo, good boy. If we could just roll around in the ground, on the grass sometimes, like a dog, I feel like it'd be pretty great. Apollo. Anyway, and just accountability, especially politicians. This whole Epstein file thing is killing me because, again, this is not the first time. This won't be the last time it's said. Trump is the one that wanted and that said, hey, we need to look into this Epstein. He seems like he's got some shady shit going on. Sure, I've met him. Sure, I've talked to him. But once I learned that he seemed to be a shady motherfucker, I said, whoa, let's look into this dude. I'm sure he said it just like that. He was like, yo, 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 peeps, my brothers, come on. Yo, yo, yo. And then, again, the Democrats would have used this against him 4 bajillion years ago. You think they wouldn't? They'd be chomping at the bit. The reason they don't want it is because there's a lot of people, Republicans and Democrats, people of all shapes and sizes, all walks of life, have been out to Pedo Island, namely Obama and Clinton. And so when it's Obama in particular, and the Clintons, actually, both of them, they definitely don't want that information out. And I'm sure there are quite a few Republicans and Hollywood A-listers and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to noted that just because someone went out to his island doesn't mean they had any idea what was going on. Now, if you're going out there continuously, I question. I do question. But if you've gone out there once or even twice and you genuinely had no idea, I'm sure, you have to kind of know someone who knows someone to kind of know what's going on fully there. But if you're going out there 3 or more times, then maybe, who knows? But we like to judge and be like, oh, sometimes people don't fucking know. Just like people are married to serial killers and don't know it. Serial killers. And their spouses genuinely had no idea. I mean, Ted Bundy to everybody else was this great guy, this charming guy. So I love how we're always like, well, if that were me, we don't know. Get the fuck out of here. We don't know. I've said that 100 times, and I don't know. What am I talking about? I'm an asshole for saying that. I don't know. You don't know what you're going to do or what you're going to say and how you're going to react until it happens to you. Was it a Dexter episode I was watching where this guy was in like a car accident and he had these like really important files that were like, I don't remember why they were crazy important, but they were like crazy important. And the person that was in the passenger seat, he didn't save them. He saved the files instead of the person in the passenger seat. However, the person in the passenger seat was more than likely already dead anyway. And these files were like, I don't remember, but like crucially important. And so people judged him and he like lost his job. And he, of course, got hate mail and death threats and all that. But they didn't show, later they showed his perspective and his point of view. And it was not so black and white. And his thing was, so he became a serial killer. The guy that took the files and left the other guy in the car, the guy that survived, ended up becoming a serial killer and killing people, putting people in a position where they had to make really, really, really difficult choices where no matter what choice you made, basically you're going to look like an asshole. Because he wanted people to feel how he felt when people were judging him for going, I would never have done that. I would have never done that. And his point was, you have no idea what you would or would not do until you're in that position. And I was threatened and lost my job and lost my life because I made a decision and people didn't put themselves in my shoes. I've done it. We don't put ourselves in other people's shoes. And we, because of that, we make a lot of statements. We say a lot of things like, I would never. I've said it, like I said. And we have no idea if we would never. What are we talking about? Either I'm really blind or someone came out last night and was shooting guns. But these are really, really shiny shells that have not been stepped on. Don't have a lot of dirt on it like the others. They're really shiny, and I do not remember seeing these. So why is someone out here shooting guns at night? Let's see, which way are they facing? Okay. Anyway, sorry, sidetracked. I will solve that later. You guys are probably like, wait, what? You're going to solve that later? We're talking guns and you're just going to solve it? I'm out on property and they do target shooting. And there's a target up and they do target shooting. Ted! And they they're known to come out here because they're out on like hundreds of acres and stuff. And practice, but I just don't remember seeing those casings and they look very shiny and new, but I got here early. Anyway, I won't work this out with you guys. You guys are like, okay, do I need to be here for this? Or point is accountability and also when we say that we would never ever do something, like if we would all just have some accountability. Hey, Paulo. Yes. Come on, Sam. If we would all just have some accountability and if we would all stop saying things like, I would never. We don't know. I don't ever know what I'm going to do in an hour most of the time. Well, that's not true. I'm kind of type A and I sort of have my day planned out. So I don't know why I said that. Scratch that. But I don't know what I'm going to do, right now. I'm usually very type A and I have everything planned out. But I don't know what's going to happen. Circumstances change. We don't know how we are going to respond. And I think we all need to do a little less blanket statements. Again, I do that too. I'll say things like, the left are such idiots. And, maybe not everybody on the left is. Just like not all Republicans are perfect or great, or, there are definitely corrupt Republicans. There are definitely Republicans that suck. People just can suck because we're humans that have brains that sometimes, misfire. And yeah, the roosters are chiming in. So anyway, I think we need to take our cues from a dog sometimes because dogs correct each other. They have a hierarchy. They have a pecking order. I fully believe in the elderly being above a, 13-year-old. I think that this is what I love about the South. I think that a 13-year-old should not be cussing at anybody, but especially not their elders. And they should hold open doors and they should help them with groceries and listen to their stories and all of that because they have been here longer than you. They have paid more taxes. They have worked longer. They have probably served their country. And even if they're an asshole, who fucking cares? No one's asking you to hang out and talk. No one's asking you to hold their hand. They're just saying, be respectful. And if you can't be respectful, even if you don't like someone, be the better person. It's not about you. That's the problem. It's not about you. It is about us being humans and learning some respect. Learning that, if an elderly person wants to sit and tell you a story because maybe they've earned it, maybe they don't have family, maybe, then you sit and listen. And if someone has been at a company longer than you and they've put in their time, you respect that because you didn't earn it yet. You didn't put in the hours that they put in. If you are a parent and you're a kid, as a kid, you should respect your parents. I'm not saying that you have to. There's some shitty parents out there. There's a difference between like, love, and respect. But you could at least, you don't have to respect. I guess if your parent is a shitty parent, meaning they quite literally abuse you and neglect you, there's a difference between, I'm talking about the normal family. Obviously, there are some situations where I understand if you think your parents or your spouse or whatever sucks or your boss sucks. I get there are some circumstances, but talking as a whole, we need to do a little less thinking about what makes us happy and comfortable as far as, gosh, I'm sounding all backwards. I think we should think about ourselves and self-care. And I think that we should take time to relax and take time to do the things that make us happy because what else are you on this earth for? But I don't think we should do it at the expense of going around being a disrespectful jerk that thinks that our opinions and our beliefs matter more than anyone's. And I don't think we should go around, I see these videos of people just treating the elderly so awful. There are so many instances of private care providers that have abused the elderly, of CNAs in assisted living facilities that have abused the elderly, of family members that abuse their elder parents or grandparents, of strangers that will attack or scam the elderly. They will go after the elderly and scam them because half the time, they're not really up to date on all the tech stuff. And they think these people that are calling them are genuine. People that do that, oh my God. Of course, I don't think it's good to do to anybody, but especially the elderly. Are you kidding me? Come on. It takes a sick person to beat up an elderly person, to scam and steal from an elderly person. It's just all about morals and ethics and respect. And I do think it's about a pecking order. I do think you should know your role. I think there's absolutely a pecking order. I think the older siblings have been there longer. So, of course, they're going to do things first and they're going to earn things first. Now, if that older sibling is just a complete fuck up and, has lost privileges or whatever because they haven't respected their parents, that's just called consequences. And then, okay, now it just means that you're still like, all right, they're the older sibling. And so I'm aware that they have some issues and they need to work on stuff, but they're older. So I'll give them some credit. I don't know. I sound like I'm talking out of both ends. The moral of the story is, let's just learn that it's not about us. Learn to respect each other. We need some accountability. We need some consequences. And we can learn to live like a dog and roll around in the grass once in a while, and just run around and not need technology, not need to be glued to the internet. You can just listen to my podcast and then put away your phones, right? So after you listen to my podcast, you can disconnect from the internet. Anyway, I was just thinking about how many videos I've seen of the elderly getting beat up, of people complaining about, like at Starbucks, all these people that are complaining about their jobs. And I'm like, excuse me, what happened to the respect of the fact that they are your boss? They are higher up than you. They are your superior. You are not in charge. You are the employee. And you chose to work there. You chose to work there. No one drug you there. No one made you sign up and apply for that job. You're not doing them a favor. They're cutting you a paycheck to do a job that you said you were okay with and wanted to do. And now suddenly you're making demands. Know your place. Know your role. You're not the boss. It's so frustrating to see people thinking that they call the shots. Like, who the hell are you? I am very much someone that's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. And I've said this before, for good or bad. I'm very childish this way. But if you're like, you better not fucking do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, now I'm doing it. Look at me doing it now. Because don't phrase it to me that way. Like, I will respect you and I won't do something, but don't be like, and you better not, blah, blah, blah. Because now the first fucking thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make it. I'm like that big sister that someone's like, you better not touch me. I'll be like, I'm touching you. Look at me, touching you. Here I go, touching you. Because don't boss me around. Like, there's, again, a difference between a boss, my employer, that has assigned a job to me that I went and gave a resume for, accepted the job, knowing what my job was, and them expecting me to do my job. And then if I screw up, I expect my boss to correct me. I expect my boss to tell me what to do. But I don't want, my spouse or someone being like, and you better not wear that shirt again. Don't be wearing another MAGA shirt. I'm like, now I'm wearing 7 MAGA shirts and a hat and mega boots. And I'm going to be so mega that you're going to see the red coming from 7 miles away. And then I'm going to put up signs all over my yard. Like, I'm that person. Someone was stealing my Trump signs back in 2016. Every time I'd put one up. So I was like, every time someone takes down one sign, I'm going to find a gigantic one and I'm going to put 47,000 of them. So I went and I got like 10 Trump signs and I made sure that people had a hard time taking them. So I'm like, for every one you take down, I'm putting up a bunch. Don't fucking tell me that I can't do something on my own property. I'm a grown-ass adult. I pay taxes. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. I am that guy. No trespassing signs. The reason that I respect it is because, again, I respect other people's property and I don't want people just walking on my property. But everything in me is like, no trespassing. Now I want to trespass. Now I want to see. No, not really no trespassing or private property. It's more the do not enter. I'm like, but what's back there? What don't you want me to see? Because I'm a snoop, as you all know. For those who have been listening, good boy, Paulo. For those who have been listening, I'm a snoop. Not a snoop in someone's home. I will never, ever, ever snoop in someone's home. I will never open up cupboards. I will never look at anything or around someone's home. I am a snoop from the road looking into your home. I will look in. Again, I've said this before, but if you have your curtains open, I am going to gooseneck it and drive really slow or walk really slow and see what kind of decorations you have. See what you're watching on TV. See, whatever I can see, because it's fascinating. And I think a lot of people do it and they just don't admit it. What else? Apollo, do you have anything to add to this conversation? Rocky, Ted, goats, roosters? Okay. Well, from all of us out here, out in the sticks, I am wishing all of you a mostest, bestest day. I am hoping that you guys can find the good, find your inner dog and roll around and just, sometimes once in a while, again, don't make this a habit, but, every day take like 20 minutes, a half an hour to yourself on the days that you work. At least take 20 minutes on the days you work, at least for yourself. On the days you don't work, don't be a lazy bum necessarily, as in, get nothing accomplished, but you should relax. What am I doing? I'm telling you what to do. I just said that I don't like people telling me what to do. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you want to sit around and do nothing, sit around and do nothing. You're probably tired. You're probably exhausted. Just because I don't want to do that doesn't mean that's you. So I'm sorry. You do whatever the hell makes you happy. Don't listen to me. Who am I to talk? My life is by no means perfect. So you do you, Scotty P. And again, what you could do if you felt like it is listen to this podcast. And to those of you who have been listening, I absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, say you are the mostest, bestest, bestest in the whole widest world. And I've got people from all over. Singapore, what? What's up, Singapore? What's up, Canada? What's up, Francois? And of course, United States. Those are my biggest. And I love so much that Canada and France listen to me. I say this all the time, but given how much I pick on both of those countries, for those of you out there in Canada and France or any country that I pick on relentlessly, and you're still listening to my podcast, what? You freaking rock. You are amazeballs. You rock my socks. Shout out to you. You clearly have kahunas. You have your big boy or girl or whatever you identify as pants on. And I love it. It's fabulous. So shout out to anybody, not just those countries. Shout out to everybody, no matter where you are. I appreciate you no matter what city or country or, what part of the planet you live. I appreciate it. So you go out and enjoy yourself. And until next time.